Sorry, we'll get his Kmart computer working here in a minute.
What are you saying? You saying I got a Kmart PC, Fred? What's going on here?
I don't know. It could be Latin striking, show your power. I have no idea.
Yeah, sorry about that. We have a severe thunderstorm down here in Florida, and so it just knocked everything out, and I didn't think that was going to happen. So apologize.
In that case, I apologize to your Kmart computer.
You're funny, man. All right. Well, welcome back to the Usual Saints. I'm Mike Deere here with Jeremy. Vinny is out today with Saint. They're hanging out somewhere in the Bering Sea or something like that. But hey, we got a special surprise guest. We have Fred Schreiber, who some may know as Elephant Boy. He was on the Howard Stern show for a long time. He's I guess a whack packer, one of the originals, probably. One of the second tier. You came in like in the late 80s or mid 80s, Fred, is that right?
In November of 88,
Okay.
and then 2 weeks later I was at the famous fun but the FCC Christmas show 2 weeks later.
Okay. And I mean, what spurred the first appearance? Were you a listener and you called in, or how did you get into the whack pack?
Where at that time in the fall, they had, if you remember, the Terresco who scammed Howard, thinking that she had a real specified to me. I said to a friend who I was working with, if you could find a specified to me, that's pathetic. I should be on the show, with my specified. And so what we did is during the rest of the morning, we both composed a letter, sent it to Karaoke in the city of New York. A couple of days later, I got a call back from Gary to see whether I was legit. And when he heard me, he knew I was legit. And then the next day, Harry called me on the air, to hear, I was going to say to hear it for himself. And he saw box office gold with me, and he invited me for a day on Friday. So that was like a very busy week for me.
Well, that's good, man. I mean, you became, I'd say, an instant star. I started listening in the mid 90s to Stern. And I remember you as far back as I can. You were always a part of the show. Obviously, this isn't the Howard Stern show, but I'll bring up some of your bits. Obviously they have the whole I don't know how you feel about it. I think you got a laugh out of it when you called into that chat line. That they played the hell out of that for years.
I can say I was a whole young man with no avenue. So maybe this happens. So who knows what will happen if this continue and I meet the wrong people.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you still in touch? I haven't heard you on the show. I listen every day. I haven't heard you in a while. Are you still do you still listen to the show? Are you in touch with anyone?
Not that much since the pandemic. I rather listen to New York local radio. I did have issue with him when I would become too political volatile, and I don't know what his political opinions are, but it was going against what I believe. Like I said, I have no idea what which side of the spectrum you are, but I am not going to, you know, chastise you if it, in a general way, you know, against your particular political thoughts. And that's why to me, like, Papi, you know, I was for Trump, you know, not I am like a big supporter, but, you know, but, and I can say, you know, in the balance of nature, a little more to, I was going to say stone, I mean Trump than, you know, than whom, whomever. But it's not like I am a psychopath when it comes to uh, Trump. There was news of a big rally where I live. I said, I'm not going to too many people. I'm afraid, but you know, I suppose them not if they want to do something really stupid and crazy.
Right. And I mean, was that the main issue? Is it, and I don't know if it was just Howard or if it was some of the other guys that would like bag on you about politics. Is that kind of what drove you away?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah, that's it. It was, you, well, in general, he becoming too mainstream. That's what President Howard you hear today is not the same Howard from when you first listened to him. Now
Right.
it's a little, uh, you know, you know, more more formatted. Let's say it does actually interview, but if you don't like that person is interview, to me, it's a waste of time. Some
Yeah.
people, I don't care what they say or what happened to them or how they cut it. You know, I went to turn off the radio. Yeah, but when but it does, you know, go into a typical body conversation with them, and then it seems to me that he doesn't need me on the show as much now than back then because his staff is the new whack pack. It can pick up, you know, any in, intricacies of you know of his staff. You know the back room. You know he will how to say it. You know he would find something to exploit. Not I am not angry with you know with because it's for him to catch it. There's no arrangement for the show to call me or to inform me on the show. I don't know if 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 he has a guest, do they come into the studio or just recently or everything's done over the phone or at a studio line?
Yeah, everything lately I think is via. I assume it's Zoom. I'm not watching like the
Yeah.
videos except for the ones they put online. Yeah, he hasn't left the home since last March, except for like to go to
Yes,
the
that's
dentist.
just, I don't need, you know, a trip to say, I believe if this is it for me, it's been a wonderful ride for me. So I have no bitter emotion in that aspect, you know, without, I am not a phone caller, but I cannot see myself ready on the phone, uh, trying to get up because all all this time until this past Friday, you know, I've been working at a job. I just retired at the end of this week, so maybe now I will be able to call him up. But
So,
you know, to me, if there's like instead of a local market, the markets now all over the net, it would be hard to get get me through. So maybe all the time I wanted to go up the shore, I would get business singles.
So if you're retiring, are you moving to Arizona or Florida to retire and sit in the sun and drink daiquiris?
Well, I am too spoiled by by New York guts or whatever's left of it, ever hit, and you know I have no plans of moving away, or if you look at it, and so, but who knows what will happen in the future, for me.
Okay. I know Jeremy, listens to Stern whenever he can. Like I said, he's only on 3 days a week now. So, I mean, I just download it and listen whenever I can. But am I right was the last time you were on, was it the Prostate Karaoke, or were you on after that?
Well, I did like a, what's it prostate? I told
it was I remember the Prostate Karaoke.
I thought it was some kind of karaoke, but it was for some prostate with the podiatrist doctor. Now I remember. You see, sometimes it's been so long for some of those old bits that you forgot that I will have to take in my memory for that. Yes. When you said that was fun, but that was amusing, and if I was in there listening, I would find it funny. So maybe I didn't object as much. By the way, I was real healthy. There was no need for a follow-up visit.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely entertaining, to listen to. But I mean, I've never been in that position that you were in, figuratively and literally.
That's where you get to be 50. Mark my words.
I'm not looking forward to it, but I remember at that time, I I forget if it was Gary or whatnot. They kind of were making a little bit of fun of you and whatnot. Were you actually offended that day? I remember you walked out.
I did. I forgot a second what was said, but
I remember. I think Gary said that.
I think it was something. It may not be the total truth. So I'm not saying that as a fact. Just from the research, I'm a memory. It could be that if you start to make gay references, because if I have a process exam, that means probably a lot of things in me, and that's not true. So I think I was like a little sensitive, and I was really getting angry by Dr. Spence anger, because when I left the exam room and went to the corridor in the doctor's office, just the door, Gary stopped me. Excuse me. Okay, sorry, I don't have a cough button. So Gary stopped me. He could hear me seething, breathe with anger. And maybe not with a choir, but with anger. But then I come down and continue it. I just need like a little reassurance, because I don't speak bad of people in general, except that rotten webhacker that will remain nameless.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Jeremy hasn't listened in a while. Jeremy, you don't have to say anything, Fred, but Jeremy, you look like you want to say.
I'm just curious which whackpacker it is. I'm trying to think in my head. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
really, you can't figure it out. He just kind of stated it without saying.
Yeah, because I don't need I don't need threatening message from her best Harry to
Yeah.
say, you better stop talking about me or I will kill you.
He
Oh,
was
that's a very
yeah.
accurate impersonation there.
They had a whole feud for a little bit. Eric, I guess, was
Yeah.
threatening him on Twitter and stuff, and that's not cool. And Howard got on him about that. So I mean, you can't do that like legally. Like you can get in a lot of trouble for that shit. So
He's
Yeah.
scary.
Well,
Yeah.
what I can understand him being a slow dad, maybe not I wish it is not an exception to the rules of living in a society.
Right.
If he cannot control its anger, he needs to be under the support of for the lack of a healthcare worker to see him, and if he cannot uh, if he cannot stop sending threatening emails, texts, or whatever social media, his person the control should let them away from him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's considered a vulnerable adult, but I know what you mean. I mean, I've obviously listened for years, so I mean,
I say I am, I am not an expert.
Yeah.
I never talked to him much to begin with because with people like him, because Eric has been nothing but trouble. Always make I want to say get into schemes or whatever, scams, whatever you want to call it. I say, I don't want to bother with them. If it's something for the show, that's one thing, but I don't want to know him in a person nature.
Right.
Uh,
Understand.
and to so I am an undecided person. I was good friends with Crackhead Bob when he was alive. Now
Yeah.
I know the life he did before he cut his strokes or whatever you want to call his ailments. You know, I don't want to spend 2 minutes with that type of person, but by that he's into recovery more. It's a good person, and when you know, if you want to come in when I'm doing it. Where's my phone? 1 second.
Sure, man.
No problem.
I'll go back later. This is more important. Okay, so I was talking but as a handicap person, Papa still like to be with, and since they cannot, travel by himself, I took him to places where he lived on Long Island, if you know. So I take it I do to the movies because it's really not a theater in his areas. So I took him to see what the latest hot movie, at that time. And, and instead of for him to go to a fast food restaurant to get like a snack to eat, I took him to a nice sit down restaurant, and that was good, good for him. He got him out of his house, and I think
Yeah.
he's appreciated.
You were a good friend, yeah.
And so that because if a person is slow and handicapped, it doesn't mean that I don't want to spend time with him. It's just how he performs in his life. I don't I don't want to hang out and be in the middle of trauma.
Of course. But I mean, to the point of where you're talking about, slow adult and whatnot, you don't mind hanging out with them. I feel like, with your life and with your speech impediment, you probably have developed a lot of patience because you feel like you hope people are patient with you and, listening to you. And so I feel like that probably helps you with relating to people, whether it's whack packers or just people in general.
They say, that's one good thing about being a part of Howard's show. He walked out the fourth wall between me and potential stranger. I mean, I was very shy when I first came on the show, back when I did the dates and the famous Christmas show, so, but within time, I was able to get a more outgoing personality, and that way, I'd use, if you want, I was going to say, if you want to, snap at me with your sense of humor, I am not able to give you the same thing, you doesn't, if you want to say, hey, how you doing, Mama? I don't say, oh, I've been so sad, so I'm happy to take it. I say, oh, I'm fun, but not whatever a good shot, but I don't take it personally as much. But if it comes off around me, that's another thing.
Right. And just so you know, I'm originally from Hempstead on Long Island, so I know the area a little bit. I've been. That's true. That's what everyone says about Hempstead. Jeremy, what are you trying to say? Jeremy, you look like you're biting at the bit to say something.
Long Island, it's great. Yeah, everything's great. So I want to go back. Yeah.
I do.
This place
but
sucks. It's the best place ever to live. I haven't lived there since I was 6, but I know that's probably much better than where I live now.
I was
here
9
for 30 years.
Listen, I was 9 when I moved. Thank you, but I still visit. I'm going up again for my niece's or my cousin, I guess, her graduation. So I mean, I love Long Island. You hear Fred? He said he wouldn't leave New York even if he could go somewhere else.
Wait, did you get an invitation? Because I'm guessing that was just so you'd send a gift. They don't actually want you there.
I've already discussed with them. Thank you. I'm sure they want me there. Thanks. And by the way, she wants an Apple Watch, rich man. So if you want to pay for that, Jeremy,
get her the old one. It's cheap. So Fred, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Yes.
So how do you feel about this whole COVID-19? Are you going to get a vaccine?
I have asked not because I haven't been to a doctor since the vaccine came about. So I do have a doctor's appointment next week. It happens to be. So now, at first, I was very late. I'm going to a big ballpark stadium arena to get a shot. I went to just go to a doctor office, set up for what's up the thing. So the doctor sent you and just give me a shot. I don't want to go to a big venue, to get a shot. So hopefully it will recommend me to someplace I can take it in a more less populated area.
So you're taking COVID pretty seriously and trying to take precautions.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer not to wear a mask because the rules are in general it's okay for that particular industry to be matched, or maybe you can cut the 6 feet to a small distance, but doing like a place that's indoor, we have to keep it closed. Who knows how many people will suffer. And for most part, about it, I don't, I don't hang out with, with there's a lot of people. I've been very quiet myself. I said, you know, I'm taking care of myself. So, hopefully one day, if I go out and meet people, that's one thing. And hopefully soon, when we reach the immunity level, I can hang out with more people.
So speaking of hanging out with people, are you a Mets fan? Are you waiting to get back to Citi Field?
I don't know. It's very rarely I go to ball games even before the pandemic. But I don't live that far from Citi Field, so who knows if there are more people in, maybe I will grab a ticket or two during the rest of the year.
Nice. Are you a big baseball guy, or are you into? I'm a
No,
big
no,
NFL guy. I don't know if you
yeah.
can see the Steelers flag, the Steelers
I
towel
am
behind
not
me. But
I am not as big of a sports fan as I used to be. I just got sick and tired of it. If
Right.
it's, excuse me, make believe I best speak off about it. um, when it comes to sport, it's it's too complicated when it comes to people in sports, because within a couple of years they all gym change. I have to remember the new people and the old stars from the league. So I don't need to follow as that much. Like I say, if a camera's on, I will see it. Yeah. If I miss it, it's no big thing.
Okay. And you, Jeremy, go ahead. You look like you're saying something.
I was going to say, you said you're retiring this week. What kind of work was it you were doing?
I work for the government, so I have a good
like CIA or
I was gonna say that.
Where your close is 3 letters by is FDA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you keep people safe, huh?
Yeah, it's yeah. I may want to check your house to see any kind of medicine is approved.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned, you were close with Crackhead Bob when he was live, and I definitely miss him. Hearing him, he had some great bits on the show over the years. Is there anyone else, whether it's from Whack Pack or from the show, that you were really close with, or you still are close with, or in contact with?
Maybe I do only know. Let me see. There's like Marianne from Brooklyn. She's the closest thing I have to a mother since my mother passed away, and also like a pest phone caller, speech impediment man. I'm good friends with him. Because he's from Pittsburgh originally, and I friends in Pittsburgh. We always hang out when we visit. Always because we're medicated Pete.
Okay. I'm a fan of Medicated P. He's a funny guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just trying to figure out like what with the whole political scene now, how it is today. And again, I'm not trying to get too deep into it, but I mean, what do you think of where we're headed now, with the new administration and whatnot? It doesn't have to be a serious answer, but we talk about everything on this podcast. We're funny, we get serious when we have to, but obviously the vaccine rollout is good. I'm double vaccinated, so I'm pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I did get COVID, so that sucked, but I didn't get it from the vaccine.
Yeah.
I got my vaccine today.
Yeah. So, What do you think about, like, the rollout and how everything's been done, even if you were, a Trump supporter, like you said, but didn't go to the rallies?
Yeah, well, especially I feel for me, there's like how to say what Sarah said, who's only duty is to check to see if there's anybody from either side that doesn't follow the 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 black side of the Democratic Party. They will look for information to run that. Now, I'm sure there's some people that are right side that want to, whose only purpose of their employment is to run it a Democratic supporter. So what's new is so this political intrigue is nothing new in this war. It becomes so prevalent.
Right. Okay. What about Cameo? Obviously, that's how I hit you up first. How's that going for you? Are you getting a lot of requests on there? You knocking them out? How many a day would you say you do?
Not that much as I used to. I should be, half a dozen more. I have to remember to do that when I'm on social media. But let me put it this way: for the first time in many years, I have, with my tax return, I finally have to share money to the state of New York. I always get a refund before, but because of my income from Cameo, they got me now.
Gotcha.
It's a great retirement job.
Yeah, like like I said. So if any people want wants me to deliver a message to a loved one or a happy birthday or whatever you want me to say, if it's not too obscene, to go on Cameo and search for webpack using many other people and names, part of the webpack on Cameo. Just ignore them and look for me, Fred Schreiber, SCHREIBER. I also got my moniker, Elephant Boy. So look for me there, and it would be good money's worth for you, for your listeners.
You had a pretty quick turnaround time too, it seemed.
Like I said, I respect my fans, so I don't get that ready. Oh, I just know there's Jeremy say it got dark as we talk.
Yeah, the rainstorm from Mike's house just got to my house.
So you're both of Florida. So prepare for address from Jeremy very soon.
And what, obviously, they had the whole section on Cameo for the Whack Pack. So like you said, it was pretty easy for me to find you when I found that section. You were right there, and I was like, I'm definitely reaching out to Fred. So that's cool, and we'll touch on that before we end. But I wanted to kind of ask you about because you live in New York, and Jeremy's been all about the Cuomo situation that's been going on. Do you have any thoughts about Cuomo and whether it's the nursing home stuff or the sexual what would that be, harassment, Jeremy? I guess maybe, I don't know what that's called. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, sexual harassment. I don't
Yes,
think
I see.
I don't know. I don't know. There's been much sexual assault accusations. It's mostly harassment.
Right.
Yeah, that's if we thought Cuomo is can be like a fair individual with uh with women, you know, have like a or offensive you know attitude when it comes to uh uh treating women, you know, like the man is born. You do as I say. None,
Right.
none of what he did with them, with you know, maybe a a trip or suspension from HR, you know, without I don't think he's paying enough to pay a piece of and when it comes to like the nursing home deaths,
Right.
I have to find I have to examine what was the orders of the CDC or whatever it's called, you know, to control this disease from the federal government. Exactly what the order says and what did the those orders meant. So uh, maybe Cuomo followed those orders too literally or in too much details or or more than what was expected from the federal government. So I said, if I was a senator or representative in New York, I would have to vote if it's I despise him. I would have to vote no.
Now, there isn't a lot of press about it nationally. At least we don't see a lot about it down here anymore. It's kind of been moved out of the news cycle between the sexual harassment and the nursing home stuff. Is
Yeah.
that still a big news up where you are?
No, like it died down. And now, you know, the joke in New York, they say every time there's a new victim for Cuomo, one of those COVID-19 restriction would be lessened the next day.
Okay.
What do you think about? Have you heard anything? I'm assuming you have. It's national news. Have you heard anything about the Matt Gaetz scandal? That he's a Florida congressman. Have you been reading into that at all?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if this has happened because one once uh you you know I think uh what the politicians live live from there with their own rules. So you know they think they get away with certain stuff. You
Right.
know, I haven't checked. You have to check with a victim. It could be something like like with Cuomo with it, harassment and there may not be any sexual content. If 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 it is, it could be the guard was lying when they have they extend. So you know it needs to be proven in you know in a court or a session of Congress.
Right. Hey, Jeremy, maybe we should try to reach out to Matt Gaetz and see if we can get him up on here.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's not going to happen. All right.
All right, Fred. Well, I mean, we really appreciate your time. I definitely want to plug your Cameo. Like you said, you can just go to Cameo, whether it's the app or the website cameo.com, and just look for the Whack Pack and find you, Fred Schreiber. Is it Schreiber or Schreiber, Fred?
Schreiber.
Schreiber.
Long
Okay.
life.
All right, gotcha. And I see the link here in case anyone wants to remember it and hear it here. But like I said, that's the easiest way what Fred described. But it's cameo.com/Fred the Elephant Boy. But I would be remiss before I let you go. how did you get that moniker, Elephant Boy? Was it just Howard thought that was the clever thing to name you, or was there a backstory to that?
The backstory is the one time I was in the studio, and I would want to Robert, what do you think Fred Elephant Boy sounds like? And I think Fred sounds like this, and you play, I sing from the movie The Elephant Man,
Yeah.
and when I can't say how it meant to be something like, I am not an animal, I am a human being. And then that stuck.
I got you. Okay, that makes total sense. Because like I'm 41 myself, so I'm thinking I guess I never heard that backstory. And so like I'm like elephant, like the animal, but no, Elephant Man. I've seen that film. I know what you're talking about. That makes sense now. All right, Fred. Well, I mean, I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to plug or say before we let you go?
No, just if any of you if any of you listener want to contact me, just kiss me. Okay. You may think I'm dying here with this coughing, but I'm sure I am okay.
Okay,
if they want to contact me, just look for Fred Schreiber on Facebook and the Real Elephant Boy on Twitter.
All right. Yeah, you're definitely responsive. So.
And if you message this sort of user suspect, I will automatically follow you.
All right, Fred. Well, like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to come talk to Jeremy and me. I wish Vinny was here tonight because he's a big Stern fan too. He would have loved to get an interview with you and our other guy, Saint. We're all huge fans, so this is a big get for us. We're really glad to have you on the show. And thank you for taking the time.
Just make sure you send my check for my appearance fee in the mail. No. It was my pleasure.
I will definitely send it in the mail because the USPS will take a few years to get there. So it'll be there eventually, though.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you again, guys.
All right. Thanks. You've been listening to the usual.
You have a good night.
You too.
You've been listening to the Usual Saints. We'll be right back.